Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. Thank you, as always, for watching. This is a Fox News alert. The Epstein files have been released. We're pouring through all the documents right now. We're going to bring you the latest throughout the show. Also, just moments ago, a federal judge in California, William Alsup, appointed by Clinton, blocked the Trump administration from ordering the firing of probationary government workers, ruling that the terminations could be illegal. More on this in moments with Professor Turley. But first, it's time to put the pedal to the metal for Doge. Now, while the left is, of course, astroturfing the so-called resistance to Trump, based largely off manufactured stories of phony outrage over Doge cuts, the president is keeping his foot on the gas. Yesterday, he signed an EO executive order directing all agencies to have a Doge rep, a mini Musk, to keep the cuts coming. Good. Because, as Musk explained yesterday, our government's out-of-control spending is the real problem.
We simply cannot sustain, as a country, a $2 trillion deficit. Just the interest on the national debt now exceeds the Defense Department's spending. We spend a lot on the Defense Department, but we're spending like over $1 trillion on interest. If this continues, the country will become de facto bankrupt. It's not an optional thing, it is an essential thing.
Right. This is completely unacceptable. The debt levels have become unsustainable. And what we've done, which is tremendously staggering, we've normalized trillion-dollar deficits for years now. And because we've fallen into this habit, our debt to GDP ratio is a whopping 120% higher than it was during World War II. But as Doge power grows, so do the attacks, including that lawfare we just mentioned. And now the left is coming after Musk for being, wait, what?
The guy was not born in this country, who was born under apartheid in South Africa, so has that mentality going on. He was pro-apartheid. This is just perfectly wonderful for Trump. He can take a nap and let this foreign agent, an enemy of the United States, do his job.
Mr. Musk has just been here 22 years, and he's a citizen of 3 countries. Which country is he loyalty to? South Africa? Canada? Or the United States? And he's only been a citizen, I'll say again, 22 years.
I mean, this is the best thing ever. Now the Democrats hate immigrants who have become naturalized citizens who left countries with very poor human rights records. Is that the new barometer? I just wanted to clarify things. Okay. I guess Democrats only like the immigrants who are illegal. For them, they'll get the cell phone, the housing, the stipends. And, of course, we know they care about cheap labor.
We can't let them deport the millions of families across this country who have been doing the work that keeps our economy going every day. If you look at the food that's on your table, think about who picked it.
Oh, that old trope. We've heard that. How did we exist as a country? How did we ever pick our food? Well, we had some seasonal workers for sure. We know that, the temporary workers who came in and then left. This is entirely different. This is come in and stay. But again, they don't want immigrants in leadership positions?
Either doesn't have the smarts or doesn't have the discipline to do the hard work that it takes to make real cuts that are meaningful in our budget.
He is a billionaire con man with a lot of money. He does not have this kind of good background.
We're watching our government be handed over to corrupt billionaires. We're watching our entire democracy be used by Elon Musk and his friends to steal from us.
It's so desperate. It just screams desperation. We're out of ideas. We tried to attack Trump. He just gets elected president. So let's go after Musk. Okay. Like Elon Musk is some kind of idiot who needs to steal money? What? I don't even know. I don't know what reality these people are living in, but it's not the one I'm aware of. Doge is working pretty darn well so far. It's already saved taxpayers an estimated $65 billion, according to its website. But there's a lot of work to be done, a lot more work to be done. But who else was even going to try if he hadn't come in? And the Trump administration, of course, has to keep up the momentum. No brakes, all gas.
It's official. foreign aid has been doged after John Roberts of the Supreme Court ruled that Trump has the right to freeze the money. USAID staff cleared out their desks today, and Musk says we've just saved $60 billion. Doge found a $75 million contract for inclusive justice in Colombia, $40 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment, another $40 million for female empowerment in Colombia. Pretty sure this money's for cocaine. But don't worry, we're also going to give the Caribbean $3 million for being gay and lesbian. You're gay, and we want you to stay that way. And we still had money left over for terrorists.
Mr. Roman, are you aware that we are sending $40 million a week to the Taliban?
Yes, sir.
Can you name other instances of foreign aid going to terrorist organizations?
We have assisted al-Shabaab in Somalia. There's been instances of the Khamsi network in Sudan, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Kataib al-Hezbollah, Hayat Tahrir al-Shams in Syria. Dozens of terror organizations have received indirect assistance from U.S. foreign aid.
Are we funding terrorists so we have something to do with our missiles? The media doesn't want anything cut unless it's a circumcision.
Trump talked about all the stuff Doge is cutting and all the stuff they're not cutting, and it got weird.
20 million here, 30 million here for, you know, a little educational course on something. Circumcision, right? Circumcision.
That long, rambling response actually reminds me of circumcision because somebody really should have cut that head off.
Doge has their brains so scrambled. Now The View is begging for deportations.
The guy was not born in this country, who was born under apartheid in South Africa, so has that mentality going on. He was pro-apartheid, as I understand it. Now I'm getting some flack because I said that Musk was pro-apartheid. I don't really know for sure if he was. He grew up at that time when apartheid was in full bloom before the great Nelson Mandela fixed that. He was around at that time, but maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. He might have been a young guy, too.
Might have been.
So don't be suing me, okay, Elon? They're allowed to say any lie they want, but we have to be really strict. That's why this show's important.
Yeah,
it is. Did Joy Behar just say go back to Africa? I don't think you can say that, can you? And I guess we finally found out where Democrats stand on illegal immigration. Deport Musk and keep MS-13. They let millions of illegal Chinese, Muslims, and Venezuelans into America, but Musk, who's been a citizen for 22 years, he's got to go. So what if he's going to colonize Mars and build their electric cars? Go back to Africa. All of a sudden, saving taxpayers' money is treason.
The prices at the grocery store are going up because democracy is being taken away.
We are in the middle of a totalitarian fascist coup in this country.
But if we were being honest, there should be a breaking news banner on CNN and MSNBC all day long. Yes. We are in dictatorship right now.
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, Democrats must be insane to think the dictator hoax is going to work after losing every swing state with it. And now they think Big Balls is going to peek into their tax returns.
If we had a president AOC, a liberal Democrat president, who brought in a bunch of her friends, and they brought their laptops, and they started taking all the data and doing whatever they wanted to, Republicans would be in the streets as well they should. This is no way to run a government. This is a dangerous precedent that's being set.
Well, they did that. Where was Van Jones when Trump's tax returns got leaked? That little liberal, leaky little John, remember, stole 400,000 of Americans' tax returns. 400,000. Leaked them to the press, and Maddow waved it in the air like it was a righteous act. And Leaky Little John was just a contractor. Elon's a presidential appointee who hasn't stolen or leaked a thing. Democrats are worried about security because they're the ones who can't be trusted with it. Hillary had a home server in her basement with secrets in it. And when she got caught, acid washed it. Elon's not just about cutting the fat. Listen, hundreds of federal workers are being promoted daily every time we encounter excellence. Democrats are squealing Trump's going to cut Medicaid, but look what we found here. California was caught using Medicaid to pay for art and music lessons. Oregon was caught using Medicaid for cooking classes, air conditioners, and mini fridges. Doge is saving us all money, and Democrats are fundraising to stop it.
I just left a massive citizen meeting that I organized on about 24 hours, 48 hours notice. Hundreds of people standing up with one voice to say we are not going to allow for the billionaires to take over our government. And I need your help right now to stand up and help me build the kind of political operation all across the country that we need to fight back against this hateful, destructive agenda from Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
Now things are starting to get dangerous. Police just arrested a trans man named Lucy.
On February 7th, police reported there was an arson attempt, plus acts of vandalism, including graffiti on some of the vehicles deemed offensive and hateful in nature.
February 24th, Monday evening, we were working surveillance where we then encountered the defendant.
The suspect, identified as 40-year-old Lucy Grace Nelson, was stopped before committing what would have been considered a Class 3 felony. Nelson was arrested on multiple charges, including felony mischief, but the most concerning one to police was the use of explosives or incendiary devices.
The devices that were discovered had potential for serious damage.
The left spends all day calling Elon a fascist who should go back to Africa, and all of a sudden, Antifa's planning explosives at Tesla dealerships. The threat level is so high that Musk has U.S. Marshals augmenting his private security. I guess Democrats only like billionaires who add to the debt. Elon's going to push hard no matter what it is. He's a pioneer. His brain's wired to break things and create things and not be like everybody else. So when Trump and Elon see a wall, they don't stop. They go right through it.
Isn't it like mind-blowing that this has happened? I mean, it just... And what, by the way, why do we still know nothing about that guy in Butler? What's going on? Cash is going to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way, yeah.
If Democrats are worried what we're finding in government, the graft and their kickbacks, wait until we start sniffing around Butler. Wait until Doge, Cash, and Bondi pull the files on Butler, PA. The FBI closed that investigation real quick. No toxicology, body cremated, electronics black-holed, and the Crooks family hires an expensive attorney. With what money? Pinch yourself. Go ahead, do it. We're living through history. No one's been able to cut waste in Washington. Nixon, Reagan, Clinton, Obama, they all tried, couldn't do it. Until now.
We are having great success in slimming down our government. It's been really very successful, and some took payouts and buyouts, and others took other things, and some people we're finding out don't even exist. We're finding that we have a lot of people that don't exist, that people thought that did.
We're even digitizing the retirement cave.
The administration came to us with a challenge, something we've never done before. Process a retiree end-to-end digitally without printing anything to paper. The deadline, in a week.
The first time I went to the mine, the picture I had in my mind was something from the X-Files. Some retirees have a lot of paper, a lot more than others, and that there were a couple we encountered that actually had pallets of communication.
We were asked, how long would it take to do this completely digitally? We gasped and said, 7 months, maybe 12 months.
We got it done in record times within 2 days without printing one piece of paper.
Things are changing fast. And there's a lot of emotion around that. No one says this was going to be easy. Voters said when they put Trump back in the White House, they wanted him to come in and deliver, quote, complete overhaul. This is going to make a lot of people very uncomfortable. Trump's been shot. Elon, the second most targeted man in the world. The Democrats are desperate, and their bases are telling them to go harder. Ironically, the voice of reason in a moment like this is Pretty Boy Floyd.
We had Trump before. We didn't appreciate him. But I think Trump is a great president. Actually, he's the best president. In my eyes, he's the best president we ever had. A great businessman. Trump has done an amazing job. And a lot of people around America are upset. But no matter who goes in the White House, we're always upset.
Right, right.
And I think Trump is the man for the job.
And welcome to Hannity, and yet another action-packed day of news. Part one of the Epstein files were released. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, is not happy. Pam Bondi now blasting bureaucrats in the FBI, not Kash Patel, for a lack of transparency after reports that a field office actually hid the documents from Bondi and newly sworn-in FBI Director Kash Patel. We've got all those details coming up tonight. Also, yes, Weird Tim Walz is now calling Republicans Nazis and fascists. That worked so well in the campaign. Why would you ever want to stop? No wonder why Stephen A. Smith is polling higher than Kamala Harris and AOC. Anyway, he'll join us with more on the dumpster fire that is his Democratic Party. And is it even true that he wants to run for president? Really? Okay, we'll get the answer tonight. And later, the mysterious, tragic death, legendary actor, this is sad, Gene Hackman, his wife, their dog. Listen to this.
Okay, are they moving at all?
No, dude, they're not moving. Just send somebody out here really quick.
Okay, my units are underway, okay?
All right, we've got the latest details on that tragedy coming. But first, more big news from the Trump White House. For decades, Americans on both sides of the aisle, they have been deeply dissatisfied with the federal government, rightly so. In fact, nearly 40 years ago, President Reagan famously said, the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government, I'm here to help, and I'm here to help. Anyway, for now, for the first time, maybe ever, something very special is actually happening. We have a free-thinking president who is working outside of the box, not within the confines of the deep state and the bureaucracy, to improve government, to be more efficient for you and your family and watch out for your money and protect your rights and give you more freedom. None of his cabinet nominees are swamp creatures. No government department is viewed as sacred. All federal spending is under a microscope. Doge is an innovative new way to identify waste, fraud, abuse, corruption. Major agencies are getting all overhauled. In fact, a federal judge just ruled in favor of President Trump, allowing the State Department under Secretary of State Marco Rubio to fire CIA employees working on DEI projects. Meanwhile, the FBI, Kash Patel, is in the process of decentralizing the Bureau, shipping far-left agents out of D.C., maybe out of the Bureau would be a good idea. And Patel is even floating up a plan to team up with the UFC, our friend Dana White, to improve fitness and training of special agents, which I know for a fact law enforcement needs a lot more training. Now, back at the White House, a new age of diplomacy is dawning. When it comes to our allies and our adversaries, Trump is not afraid to deploy. America's tremendous leverage was on display yet again today. Take a look.
This is indeed a unique friendship. It's been many years, and I think it's only gotten stronger, and we will make sure that it stays that way. We're going to have a great trade agreement. One way or the other, we're going to end up with a very good trade agreement for both countries. And we're working on that as we speak. Tomorrow, the progress toward peace will continue when President Zelensky visits the White House. He'll be here tomorrow in the early part of the day, and we'll be signing a historic agreement that will make the United States a major partner in developing Ukraine's minerals and rare earths and oil and gases, and we have a great understanding. I think it's going to be great for Ukraine.
But the media was telling us, oh, but he's being mean to Zelensky. No, it's called negotiating and hopefully ending war in Europe. Despite what you might hear on fake news, CNN, MSDNC, President Trump earned the respect of world leaders. And here's more from Trump's joint presser with Britain's Prime Minister. Take a look.
Mr. President, I welcome your deep and personal commitment to bring peace and to stop the killing. You've created a moment of tremendous opportunity to reach a historic peace deal, a deal that I think would be celebrated in Ukraine and around the world. That is the prize.
And we hope it comes to fruition. Things are looking good. We'll see over time. Give President Trump time to negotiate. To put it bluntly, Trump is seeking out good deals for the American people, free and fair trade, reciprocity if they put tariffs on us, and peace around the world. What a horrible thing. What a horrible human being he must be. But many on the left, they're deeply upset. They are triggered. They're angry. They're currently trashing everything Donald Trump says or does. One New York Times columnist just compared Trump to Putin. Another left-wing publication accusing Trump of building a new axis of evil with America front and center. Illinois gluttonous governor said that prices are going up because Donald Trump is destroying democracy. Didn't they try that in the campaign? How'd that play out for them? Take a look.
If you talk to 100 people, knock on 100 doors, and I've knocked on an awful lot of doors running for office, and you say to people, you know, democracy is at risk, nobody knows what that looks like. They've never experienced it before.
Yeah.
And the reality is what people need to hear about is what the effects of that are. The prices at the grocery store are going up because democracy is being taken away.
Governor, you said that before the election. All you Democrats are saying that before the election. Democracy is on the ballot. Democracy won. Donald Trump won. The American people chose. Now, when you think it can't possibly get any more absurd than that, I present to you the ladies of the possibly on soon-to-be-canceled ABC Disney show, The View. This is supposed to be that hard-hitting news show, ABC Disney, but today, well, I don't know what to tell you. Take a look. Joyless Behar turned into a full-blown anti-immigrant, xenophobic conspiracy theorist by attacking Elon Musk. Who would have thunk it? Take a look.
The guy was not born in this country, who was born under apartheid in South Africa, so has that mentality going on. He was pro-apartheid, as I understand it. This is just perfectly wonderful for Trump. He can take a nap and let this foreign agent, an enemy of the United States, do his job. Now I'm getting some flack because I said that Musk was pro-apartheid. I don't really know for sure if he was. He grew up at that time when apartheid was in full bloom before the great Nelson Mandela fixed that. He was around at that time, but maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. He might have been a young guy, too.
Might have been.
So don't be suing me, okay, Elon?
Anyway, not to be outdone, her co-host Whoopi Goldberg made a false accusation of her own. Let's take a look at that.
I would be listening to this man if I thought he had one iota of medical experience. He doesn't know. He's fired everybody. Where are the scientists? You fired all the damn scientists. You got rid of this one. You got rid of that. Who is checking?
Well, they vilify the scientists. Look what they did to Dr. Fauci. Yeah. I mean, they go after scientists.
Dr. Fauci? You mean the guy that said if you got the shot that you're not going to get COVID and you're not going to infect others? That guy? After so many years, you would think that the left would develop just a little bit of self-awareness, little introspection, maybe a course adjustment. The sky is not falling. Democracy is not in peril. America is not on a war path. I understand. I will try to be sympathetic. I will try to cater to the pain that you must be going through. Change can be hard, and that out-of-the-box thinking is not always welcome, and it's scary, very scary to myopic institutionalists like the host of The View. But so many Americans across our great country, and we've been showing polls a lot of nights, have been failed by decades of government incompetence, overspending, overregulation, corruption, intrusion into their lives. In November, voters, they picked someone who would take a wrecking ball to the Washington swamp. That's what Trump is doing, in a good way. If you're a devout Democrat with Trump derangement syndrome and you want to keep building the bureaucracy, you don't have to like Trump or agree with everything he does. But at this point, the hate, the hysteria is beyond insufferable. And the American people, frankly, they're going to get sick of it real quick.